How's it going, my piscatorial pugilists? Doing lure making, you find yourself wandering off into all sorts of different avenues. You know, like I do a lot of airbrushing to paint lures, and in doing that, to try and get the best price I can get my airbrushes for, or get the best bang for my buck. Sometimes I pick up second-hand airbrushes, and I picked up this airbrush, which is a whole bean, and I'm rather quite fond of the whole bean, even though they've been discontinued. But you know, I bought a second-hand one and it was all stuck together and it was hard to get apart. I didn't want to damage the chroming. I wanted to actually take this air control valve off the body, so I needed a set of soft jaw pliers. And I could have maybe bought a set, but I couldn't find any that were exactly what I wanted. And then I thought about this stuff that I've been using for quite a while called Polymorph. Its proper name is called PCL, or Polycarpalactone. And it's a low melt plastic that has some properties very similar to nylon. It has good flex. It's you can drill it, you can tap it. It doesn't like snapping really easily. It's not a bad engineering plastic. The upside to it is that it actually melts at around about 70 degrees C. It starts melting at around about 62-ish sort of thing, which means that, you know, as long as this thing isn't underneath a magnifying glass, you're fine to use it. And I just sort of drop a little bit in here, and as you can see, it's already starting to soften up already in that cup. So in the granules, it softens up pretty quickly because the granules are quite small, and it'll go from an opaque colour like this in the granule to pretty much a clear colour when it's in hot water. And then what you can do with it, you can do with pretty much whatever you like with it. You can smooth it around stuff, put it on. It's a lot like toffee when it's melted, so it's not too madly runny, but you can see there it's starting to develop a bit of a drip. But it's not really what I'd call runny. It does stick to everything in this state, like it'll stick to the steel, it'll stick to this, but after it cures, it doesn't stick anymore. Like I can dub a bit on here, you can see there it seems like it's quite well attached, and it'll stick to polycarbonate like crap to a blanket. If you put this on polycarbonate, you cannot get it off. You can heat it up again and try and scrape it off, but it's like trying to wipe off snot. It just wants to stick there. So for polycarbonate, you can use this stuff pretty much like an adhesive. So what I've done with it is I got a pair of these pliers, the old multi-grips. And the reason why I chose multi-grips, I mean, they're a bit large for what I want to do. There's no way I need to put that much torque on it from such a long handle. But the jaws slide open so that I could get inside here and grind up and file out and do whatever I wanted. So what I've done is I pretty much just got that screwdriver with some polymorph on it. I wrapped it around and around and around and around there, put it on like toffee, pushed it into shape, used a flat razor blade to squish it down and get the surfaces I want. And to get the half rounds, use drill bits. And I formed it around the drill bits, like so. So I actually just wrapped it around there, put the drill bit in, closed the jaws on it, done one side first, closed the jaw on it, and then I done the other side and closed the jaw on this side. So I done each side one at a time and just used drill bits to form up the different sizes I wanted for the different sized parts that I'd be undoing with it. And you can do you can do a heap of other stuff with it as well. I used it here to back up. I joined these three pipes together. I glued them together in the corner with some araldite, but I was a bit worried about it snapping, so I put this around it so that the pipes, if they got pulled this way or that way, wouldn't snap. So, and I've used it for other things around the shed here, for jigs, for putting my lures into, for cutting bib slots in. So it's a really handy substance, this Polymorph. It's very awesome. And as you see here, it doesn't stick to the cutting board, so it just comes straight off. And just drop that straight back into hot water, and it'll melt back down again. One thing you can heat it up with a torch, you know, like this. When you do, it overcooks the plastic. There are some upsides to cooking the plastic a little bit. The plastic gets a bit harder, but along with that extra hardness you get from overcooking it with a flame so it becomes more brittle the more you use a flame too. So here you can feel it, or you can't feel it, but I can, that I can dig my fingernail into that surface and leave a mark. On this stuff here, you know, I can barely stick a groove in it. So this material around this edge here, which is a bit darker, has been heated up several times before from different projects, and I've overcooked it with a flame, you know, getting it smooth and shaped into the shape that I wanted. Anyway, I'll take you over and I'll show you what I've done over here. You know, I made a small jig out of this unit over here. This is my bib slotting jig. So what I've done is I pop my lure in there, push it up into there, so it's held nice and tight. I shut this lid, and there's my bib slot. So, and I have a little foot control down here on the floor that I can put my foot on. There. The reason why I took it over is I used Polymorph to make this jig, just here. And this holds my lure in exactly the same place every single time. So for my quick tip, and to make a set of soft jaw pliers, I used the Polymorph. And now I can undo that I couldn't undo before. Anyway, hope this helps some of my fellow lure makers. Catch you next time.